Hey everyone, this is PJ and Patrick from Ghost Travelers Podcast. Hope you guys had a nice week. It's Saturday. Dad, how was your week this week?
Man, this week was great. This has been a special week because we had our son, our youngest son, Seth. He just recently retired from the Army, and he stopped by here to visit mom and dad here in West Virginia. And this past weekend, as you know, Patrick, I should say PJ. People are used to me calling you PJ, not Patrick. Only dad calls him Patrick.
It's
Um,
okay.
we had the whole family here. So we had PJ joined us, Seth, and our middle boy, Luke, and our two grandchildren, Michael and Gabriel, all at one time. It's the first time we've had everybody together for quite a bit. So this has been a special week, just enjoying um, Seth with us, and he will be leaving next week. And we will all be joining him back in Wisconsin for his 21st birthday. Now, some of you might be asking, Patrick, you just said he retired, and you just said he's turning 21. Well, he did. He was one of those special circumstances where he served his country and he received a medical retirement. So we're very proud of him and his service. So, um, it's been awesome having him here. But yeah, this has been a great week, PJ. And so, what are we going to be discussing today?
Well, I think we will be discussing today about the our favorite haunts that we've been traveling since the fall of 2009. Reminiscing of some of our favorite locations that we investigated here in Virginia, and also when we moved to out to Wisconsin.
Wow, man, that's a lot. Let's just stick to a couple of them and see how it goes. There's a lot of them. I would have to say one of the things that I've appreciated, um, as our listeners know, we started off in Virginia as Loudoun County Paranormal Group, and we really, um, you know, made our name out there. We were featured in a magazine article. We were doing investigations for homes and businesses where we even had, taverns contact us and said, hey, can you come out and take a look and just make sure our patrons are safe and our employees are safe and tell us what's going on. And we've done those kind of investigations. We've had some really good ones, like almost all of the paranormal groups. We've also paid to go to some of these well-known hauntings to sharpen our skills, knowing that it's haunted. Uh, Being able to use our equipment and train new people on it, especially in Wisconsin, on how to be paranormal investigators. We've done a lot. We have done a lot. But out of all of that, Patrick, I would have to say the relationship that you developed with the University of Wisconsin back in Madison, Wisconsin, um, having us, show up to their one of their facilities to do an investigation. The only paranormal group invited by a University of Wisconsin to look at their stuff and trusting us, to be in their buildings after hours and not to put something out there crazy, but be respectful for that organization. Why don't you tell us about University of Wisconsin and what did we do out there?
Yeah, of course. So the UW Madison University of Wisconsin, I would say is like one of my biggest achievements on getting permission to investigate. Again, it's like as far as we know, we were the very first paranormal team to ever investigate the Science Hall building because it was like one of the most rumored buildings on campus is one of the most haunted buildings. And I reached out and we got permission and we were so excited and we got amazing evidence. We probably did what, like five investigations of our time living there, at least.
Yeah, I would say I would at least, and I would encourage viewers and listeners to go back and take a look at. I believe we posted some of the, didn't we, on YouTube?
Yeah, we made a complete episode of that, um, of the science salt, and I'll put the link of that episode here in the bottom of the description for our listeners and viewers can watch it. And I'll also post I'll see also if I can put like a small trailer here in this video as well.
Yeah, that was nice. And what was special about that, we got to go back there so many times that at one point we, as ghost travelers, we had a three individuals that we brought on as kind of like interns to train them so they could be paranormal investigators on their own. When we were in Loudoun County Paranormal Group, we had a couple guest investigators with us, but we didn't, expand our group. But here in Wisconsin, when we were there, we took on three people and we trained them, and that was a great environment to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also, we brought had a couple of guest investigators on there. You would see Amy, my wife. She was on there, and she had a great experience. Down in the basement on the lower level, she had a great experience there. And I recall you guys, you were with two of the new people, and you were in this auditorium setting.
Yep.
And I think you saw, correct me if I'm wrong, you saw a shadow person in there, correct?
Yes, I did. And also for the listeners and the viewers, I'm sorry about the static noise. Our Wi-Fi at this campsite's not really well, so it broke up there. But yeah, two of my fellow investigators, I'll mention their names, Kelsey and Garen, but mostly me and Garen mostly saw a shadow person walk down the staircase. It was like, those big auditoriums, classroom settings. And it walked down the staircase, and we saw it, went through an aisle and sat down. And we both looked at each other and saying, "Did you just saw that?" And I'm getting the goosebumps right now on talking about it. And we were just talking, and we were saying, "Okay, we're about to leave. Can you show yourself again before we can say thank you?" And what it did, it got up from the seat and it flew up the stairs and it went back out the door. And I think that was like one of the most amazing shadow figures I ever seen.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing. That is great. Especially when you're doing investigations. For our listeners out there who are listening, but they don't do paranormal investigations themselves, there really are two kinds of investigations. One, you're going in and you're trying to capture evidence. And generally, we do that when we're working for either a client like University of Wisconsin, or you're going in somebody's home that they've invited you in to do an investigation. You're trying to capture evidence. The second investigation is for yourself, where it's not so much the equipment, but you're just trying to live in the moment. And for a shadow figure like that, that's like taking on that second one. I mean, it's hard to capture it, on film always, or audio, but to experience that yourself, that is something you just you can't get across that on film, to what you're feeling as in how your body's reacting. Like you said, I mean, thinking about it now, the goosebumps that you're getting now, that's just something hard to capture, using equipment. But when it happens to you, and it is amazing. I think for myself, that's some of the best investigations that we've done. Is we capture a lot of stuff before we turn on our equipment as we're setting up in a location. And I think that's been some of our best experience, where it's not on, you know, on film or on audio. And we experience some of this stuff. And what comes to mind, you remember that one setting what we were in? We were setting up on the lower level. We were running equipment going upstairs. Um, and I think this is the same place that Katrina was just filmed at not too long ago, and I think she hurt herself. She tripped down the stairs,
Yep.
and we were right, in this location. Do you recall what that location was,
Yeah, the
PJ?
Randolph County Infirmary in, I think it was in Indiana, I believe, Madison, Indiana. I can't remember, but I think it's in Indiana, I believe.
Yeah, but the Randolph. So we're setting up to do our equipment, and we had some stuff on. We weren't paying any attention to. We just turned on some of our equipment, and we caught something, and we weren't even intending to do it. We were just carrying out our normal stuff, and I think we got, what was it, like a growl
Yeah,
or
it was like a growl, or a spirit was trying to get our attention in the best way it could.
yeah. I think that really sticks out to me as in that was exciting. When we were reviewing our evidence later, it was just by accident that we looked at that because we were just looking because we had the recorder, we had a recording device on it, and we caught that. And that was so exciting, when we noticed that we had that way after the investigation. This was when you were looking at it afterwards. That's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, it sure was.
One of the ones that really stick out to me is Jordan Springs here in Virginia.
Yep, in
Uh,
Winchester.
we went to this one investigation, and we were there were a couple levels to this place, but we were in this one part of the building. We were on either the second or third story, and we had a bank of windows going with different rooms for these windows. And we were up there, and there, to set the scene, there's nothing located outside of these windows. Other words, there's not a balcony, or how some buildings you can come down and there'll be a roof, covering like the second floor kick out, like that. So what I'm saying is, looking out these windows, it is a complete drop off until you get to the ground. There's nothing there. All right. So we were doing an investigation, and I was in one room with somebody, and PJ was in another room. And and it's amazing how we caught it. We just happened to be looking out the window, and a handprint slowly started appearing on the window. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And at the same time, going down the bank, going down the hall of this extension of this building, handprints were developing at the same time on all the windows. So it wasn't just like one experience, because somebody, called out, "Hey, we caught something," and at the same time, we had somebody else going, "Hey, we caught something too," and it turned out to be the same thing. And for me, that was amazing. Now it would be different if it was like you caught it on one window, and you can say, "Well, that's because." My face was close to the window, and it was a handprint that was actually on the inside. Somebody touched the window, and the humidity from my breath caused it to develop because it was wintertime. It caused it to develop on the window, and I could see it. But no, the handprint was on the exterior of the window, and they all developed at the same time. So we went running to the other rooms, and you could see, handprints. And I know we took pictures of that. And I think, did we also not get that on video also?
Yeah, I did, but the sad thing is about it was on my very first computer on my laptop, and it was on my old hard drive, and I don't believe I have that footage anymore.
Yeah, and that's when we were here in Virginia as Loudoun County Paranormal Group. And we had some really fun at Jordan Springs because we were also invited to go back. Grant Wilson and a couple well-known paranormal investigators did a weekend kind of like a talk, and then they did an investigation afterwards, and they opened it up to the public so you could pay to go to hear them speak and then do an investigation. And we were lucky. They invited us to come out to be one of the established paranormal groups for the area that had experience with Jordan Springs to lead the investigations for the others to follow. I mean, so Patrick, I mean, who was out there? So we had Grant Wilson. We had the Haunted Collector.
Yep, we had them when they were on the
Zaffis, John
Sci-Fi
Zaffis.
Channel. Yep, John Safis and his kids, and we also had Adam and Amy from Kindred Spirits were out there, but they were with Taps back in the day,
Yes, yeah.
and also I believe Dustin Perry was there too.
You know what? I believe you're right. Yeah, because we were in a room with Dustin, one of the standalone facilities, and he was doing a spirit box session out there. And yeah, I remember being out there with him. Real nice guy.
He sure was.
Well, because of that, that experience, you and Grant became pretty good friends. And if you would go back to some of the beginning episodes of Ghost Travelers podcast, some of the bumper music, you will hear that's Grant Wilson. That's some of the music that he created and from his CDs, and he gave us permission to have it on there. And some of the shows that we go to, you and Grant still get together, and I would have to say, knock down a few beers and
Yep.
talk about some of your experiences on what you guys have been up to. So, yeah, Jordan Springs, I have to say that was pretty special. Oh, here comes Arrow. Come here, Arrow. So, for those that don't know, this is Arrow. He's my service dog, and you will see him on our adventures with Arrow. You can catch that on Facebook and also Instagram. Come on, Arrow. Yeah, he's always with me. So, other than those ones, you'd have to say Gettysburg is probably our next.
Yeah, Gettysburg I would say is one of the top places I really enjoy on going because it's like super close to us.
Yep.
It's at least like an hour and 30 minutes. I would say, right?
Oh, probably, yeah, the longest. So we're located here in West Virginia, in Inwood, West Virginia, and it's not that far. And when we were part of Loudoun County Paranormal Group, we lived in Purcellville, Virginia, and yeah, you're right, like 90 minutes. We would shoot up there, and I can't tell you how many times we've been to Gettysburg.
Yeah, and also we're actually going back there here next in May for the Memorial Day weekend, and we're probably staying 2 nights up there, I believe.
Yep, and we will be doing some filming, and we'll be doing live. So follow Ghost Travelers podcast. We'll be doing some live stuff. We'll go live on it, and we'll be doing videoing for our YouTube channel. And so I would ask you now, if you're watching, again, I would invite you to make comments here on Ghost Travelers podcast, or go to Ghost Travelers and make some comments on there. If there is somewhere that you want us to investigate in Gettysburg, let us know, and we'll see if we can work in our schedule. I have to say, PJs, I have to give you kudos. You developed a relationship with the Park Services out there, and you were the only investigator to get an open invitation to actively investigate with our equipment on the battlefield because they don't normally allow that. In fact, they don't allow that. You'll see some of the filming from Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures. When they're filming on the battlefield, it's off the park when they're doing any kind of filming. But how did you get that letter?
Well, what I did was at the time when there was another, when we were living here at the time, I sent an email out to the National Park Service um, Visitor Center, well, their headquarters, and I asked them with saying if we can have permission and stuff like that. And they wrote back with my amusement. They said yes, and they gave us the chief ranger at the time his contact info, and I texted him and saying we got permission to investigate the battlefield, and his only condition was just be out of there at sunset because it is still illegal to be out on any kind of battlefield at night. Even though we got permission to investigate it, but you still have to respect their hours of operation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we and the fellow chief ranger, he moved on to a different facility, and he gave me the new contact for the chief ranger now, and we established a relationship with the new chief, and he still allows us to investigate there with permission.
Yeah, and I would, for how we did it, for fellow investigators out there watching the show, is when we go and ask for permission, what we do is, we try to get it across that it's going to be everything is respectful. And we also encourage them to look at our past shows so you can see that everything is respectful. You're not doing any taunting because, especially for a battlefield, uh, this is where soldiers have passed, and you have to be respectful. There are still like mass graves out there that soldiers are buried at, and you have individuals coming out there to try to learn, about the Civil War, no matter which side their family might have fought on, and so you really have to be respectful. And getting that across to someone that you're seeking permission, either be a battlefield or somewhere else, you have to really demonstrate what kind of paranormal investigations you do and how do you conduct yourself while you're out there. And that is what set us up for success, that we had this open-ended letter in the beginning by the Park Service to say, okay, you guys can do that. And it carried on to the next person that came on and was in charge of Gettysburg National Park to allow us to continue to do that. And trust me, we don't flaunt it. When we're out there, we try to be very respectful and not let even individuals know that we're doing film, we're doing all because we want them to enjoy that experience while we're out there, and we don't want to be a disruption to it. So you can use that advice, for any place that you're trying to get permission to do an investigation. So Patrick, at Gettysburg, what was your favorite part of the park to investigate?
I would say probably this little corner that is our personal favorite. It's called the Grove, just right outside of East Cemetery Hill, and that's like one of my favorite spots for outside investigations, and also without permission, if you investigate just inside the Grove part, you can see the battlefield of East Cemetery Hill and see all the paranormal stuff right outside the gate.
Yeah, you know what? And so here we're talking about Gettysburg and having permission to to be on the park.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, some of our greatest uh, evidence collection and personal experience has actually been off the park. I would say one of my favorite places is Sashes Bridge.
Yeah, most
Now,
definitely.
can you tell our listeners, where that is?
Well, Sashes Bridge is a little bit out of town. I would say it's like what 5 to 10 minutes outside of town. I would say,
Yeah.
and it's on this little road called Waterworks Road in Gettysburg. It's easy to find. Just search up for Cover Bridges Haunted in Pennsylvania will pop up. And we had like so many audio evidence, EVPs, um, visual evidence late at night, and stuff like that. Like my favorite piece of evidence, and I really hate to say it was on my older computer, lost a hard drive, was
Mm-hmm.
a voice we captured in the daytime when there's other people there, but I had my iPhone 4 running at the time and on video to clarify, and I got the most crystal clear EVP of a guy, of a soldier saying a color of an orb that one person was saying, I think I saw an orb fly right next to you in front of my digital camera. And the spirit said, um, F and white, because the guy previous said what color was the orb, and the EVP said effing white, and it
Yeah.
was like
And so
so clear.
when PJ is saying F and white, the individual literally used the F word, and we caught that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, is we caught it, and it was so clear. You were thinking it was somebody right next to you that said it, and there was no one. There was no one right next to us. There was no one around us. When we caught that.
Yeah, it was the two of us and three other fellow investigators, and you can hear them in the background talking to each other. And I had a recorder in the middle of the bridge, and I have another recorder at the very far end of the bridge in the parking lot. And when I reviewed both recorders, it only popped up on the run that was closest to us in the middle of the bridge, not
I
on
know.
the entrance of the recorder.
Yeah. So, uh, watching us today, we're giving you a little hidden gem you will not find on any other the paranormal shows that you might listen to on either podcast or on YouTube. No one's going to mention Sashes Bridge. I'm telling you, it's a hidden gem. Uh, One of the things I would suggest is to definitely go off season, like the winter or the late fall or late at night, because it is a very popular spot for the locals. It is absolutely a beautiful covered bridge. You'll have people go out there for photographs or picnics. I mean, it's gorgeous, and you can also fish the area. But here's a little hidden gem provided to you by Ghost Travelers. You want to get out there, and you really want to do this. Some of the best responses that we had was trying to get like yes or no answers. Like depending on, we're using a K2 meter or flashlights or something like that, trying to get it one for yes, two for no, or something like that kind of response. And you can sit there and go all day, and they respond. It responds, right to your questions. It's very clear. It's an intelligent haunt. Um, it's amazing, amazing stuff out there.
Yeah, most definitely. Sashes Bridge is like one of my favorite locations, and I think it was actually one of the second locations that really sparked our interest on doing the paranormal, I believe.
You know what? And I can't even remember how we got led onto the Sashes Bridge because I you don't see that in any of their talking to other investigators that they don't bring it up. Again, it's really popular with the locals. When I mean locals, I mean the people that live there. But for other experiences, but it's amazing the evidence that you catch out there, and you just have to be able to catch it at the right time, where there are not other individuals out there enjoying the experience because it is such a beautiful, just a beautiful area, and what a beautiful representation of a covered bridge. You'll probably see that we've gotten many photographs we've taken on of it, and what I'll probably do is on Ghost Travelers podcast, for my Instagram account, I'll put up a couple pictures of us of Sashes Bridge. You really got to check it out. It's a beautiful area, you know. But so PJ, looking outside of the areas that we covered, if there was any other spot that we could go back to, no matter where it was, where would you like to go?
The places we've been to, or the places we haven't been to?
No, that where we've been to.
Been
If you could
to?
go back,
Well, I would say I would like to go back to the campus, University of Madison. I would believe for I can try my hardest to capture that shadow figure or understand what a shadow figure is, because that place is like so popular with shadow figures throughout the night and stuff like that. And I really want to try to study more what a shadow figure is really, because it's still hard to understand and capture them on film, you know?
yeah, you're absolutely right. Uh, for our listeners out there, if you're watching this or listening to it on podcast, I would encourage you to contact us. If you have a story about a shadow figure, let us know. Let us get a hold of you, and maybe we can maybe do an interview. And we've done a lot of that with Ghost Travelers podcast. We would interview somebody and let us know. But yeah, if you got a story, let us know about it. We want to hear about it because shadow figures. I mean, it's a common story you hear about, but to have somebody to give a really good story on it, experience, that's hard to find.
It is. For the short amount of time that we have left together, what would you say, uh, of all the top locations we have investigated, which one would you really want to go back to?
Oh man, Ooh, that's a tough one. Um, we've had such good experiences. If I could, I would like to do Jordan Springs again. But like you were sharing with me, there's new owners of that beautiful facility, and they're not entertaining any kind of anything related to ghosts or hauntings. They're trying to flip a new page, and they're concentrating on other things for that business there. But I would like to be able to go back in the Jordan Springs. Anybody listening that could get us in there, I would appreciate the help. But if I could go anywhere, and I would have to say the majority of the people would agree with me, if I could go anywhere, it would be like winning the lottery. If I could get the Lincoln Room in the White House, that would be the bomb.
Yeah, I would say the Lincoln bedroom in the White House, that would be the top area, because I believe when President Lincoln was alive and in presidency, it was his Oval Office before they re-renovated it.
Yeah, I was in my former life. I was with the FBI, and I've been in the White House a couple times, and I haven't experienced anything paranormal, but I would love to go in there after hours and do the Blue Room, the Lincoln Room. That would be great.
Yeah, it
You know,
sure would.
again, I would encourage our listeners. If you have a place that you would like to see ghost travelers go to, or cover in a conversation, let us know. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, most definitely. And yeah, again, if you have any suggestions of places you want us to investigate, or if you have a ghost story that you would like to tell, please comment down below and we'll reach out to you um, any way we can. And well, everyone, I would like to say thank you for listening and for watching for Ghost Travelers Podcast. Take care and travel safe, everybody.
Take care. It was nice being with you.